So in the last video, we got all of the fabrication stuff for the front clip all handled. We got to start doing some tear down. Before we do that, when I originally built this kit and everything, I hadn't finish welded this bellow to this. Tack that up before I pull this thing off so that it's done, and then I can weld it up on like the engine stand or something like that. But yeah, so this is where we're at. As you can see, the reasoning behind getting rid of the lower rad support, pretty clear. You know, just gives you more room. I had considered, you know, cutting the upper rad support, but there wasn't a need for that. I can still, having this window now, this lower area, really allows to, I mean, if I had everything unbolted and everything, I could just drop the motor and pretty much, you know, just lift the car back up to this height, and then the motor would be able to come just rolling out on a dolly, which that's what we're planning on doing. That is the plan. So I'm going to go ahead, get this dude tacked really quick. I'm going to clear the bench off, but get this thing tacked, and then we can remove the crossover, unbolt the downpipe. And actually, now that I'm saying this, I'm gonna have to retract that. I would like to build a support for the downpipe, so I've got to try to figure out a way to support the downpipe. First step, I think, is gonna be, we'll get the crossover, that dude tacked up, and I can actually take the crossover out, and that won't affect it because I have the turbo mounted on the oil drain to the passenger side cylinder head, so I can kind of leave the turbo and downpipe in place, and that won't affect anything, and I can kind of get a better idea as to where I can put a mount. I'm thinking I might add a bung, like a threaded bung, to like the front of this header right here, and then have a tab come up that mounts right there, because then that's the only area where I can support that downpipe. So I'm thinking that might be the way we do it, but we'll go ahead and get the welder out, and we'll get this dude tacked up. Oop. That's a kind reminder. Make sure you turn on your welding gas. Two. Three. So we got our lovely tacks. Now, I think, if I recall, that one's tight. I think I hand tightened, yeah. Fine housing. So this one will support all of it. It's the turbo kit. It's mainly supported by the engine, which is nice because I don't have to worry about that. Get our good old, you take that cap off. Now in theory, bam, and get this welded up. You can see the inside. I always purge this stuff. I don't play games with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up my purge, and we'll get this puppy. I'm gonna go ahead and set up my purge, and then we'll be able to start welding her up. Plugging the purge caps. These things are honestly the best tools ever. So I'll go ahead and get these suckers all capped up. So I've got one plug here in particular. I'm just gonna take a barbed fitting that I got. Now we're all capped off. I'm gonna turn my tank on. You can kind of see how I have it set up. I have the Purge plugs all in it and everything. You know what? That sounds like a really good idea.
No, stop.
I'm joking.
Stop it, Evan. I
This
wouldn't
is
go
going
into
to video.
Evan, I wouldn't even go into work.
I was watching a video.
I want.
Like,
No, even he was probably only getting.
just so I know you can use it as an impact if you just take it off and then you hit it on it, bam, just like knocks it.
They have a bigger one, don't they?
They do. They actually have an impact, like an actual impact version of it.
So it uses the stock. I feel like
Much. Do it. That's why I trust in that. I tricked me at the fall. My brain was
What?
I was like, wait, what? That's not supposed to happen.
Was that bushing bed or something? You're acting like it was.
It was weird. I was able to like spin the. Oh, it's fine now.
You just bought it's brand new, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Is it even tight on there?
It just has a lot of like side to side, but I guess that's not how it works. Okay. And then first, this is torque work.
I was saying maybe I'm. Maybe jack over there depending on if it wants to. Do you even have fan fluid in there?
No. The only thing that has fluid actually is the rear diff.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah, it's got fluid.
So she's
It's
saying-
yeah, the rear diff is a
Okay.
shouldn't have to come back unless something dramatic happened.
What gears are that? 372?
49. This thing will get up and it's gonna scoot. It's gonna be freaking legit. It's gonna do some great old just like
No, it's meant for. That's a burnout.
what's this gonna sound like?
Although it is a manual car, so it's really good for burnouts.
I'm sorry. You do know who you're talking to. It's not gonna do burnouts. It's not gonna do burnouts. Hey, that's a nice over like that. It's freaky.
Like what's holding what here? Which way?
Oh, full stop.
Wire harness?
Yeah.
They put them on like E86s, like the Toyota Corollas. They're like a hood vent, and it like comes up like this. Hard to explain. I doubt it.
Yeah.
I guess.
My lift is it's gonna diaper. Almost before it got probably this.
Was it?
And I hope that strap line.
The toe strap. It's kind of the same.
It falls off the rear wheel.
Don't say that.
It's not going to, but that'd be silly.
I think it's. The cross member and not on the engine oil pan?
We'll see. It might be fine laying right there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I done messed up Evan's car.
Don't be on Instagram. I ain't that. I don't have it. Yeah, let's get it. Stop. Stop hurting. Where? That's what I was thinking it was.
That's all I was wondering if it was too, from all the some brown stuff.
Yeah.
Once we get the weight rested on there, then we can.
What is it?
18.
You want shorter? No. Good?
Yeah.
Lift it up.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Under the hoist, put Jackson finger underneath it.
Good. You're on it. That is. Why did you turn it the other way?
Because we're freaking retarded and we thought.
I don't even know what you did, but mine's better. It's in there, baby.
I wish you guys could smell that. That smells like crap.
That's really nice. I think that'll work. That'll work out really good.
Well, I guess, yeah, if we're gonna put it on a stand, then yeah. I would just leave it over there for right now. I mean, just push it in here, but right here. I mean, put it on the other side of the wires.
Move the whole motor.
That's fine. Falls on my foot. Smack the coil packs because they're hitting.
I just gave birth.
That's pretty sick. Oh no. Don't do it. What? Alright. Well,
Now's the time to just get new ones, Evan.
tie rod, you mean?
You can buy a whole new tie rod.
Why?
Oh, the
I don't need inners.
Not bad.
1% battery life left.
That was all left?
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow.
There, now it's recording. Ooh, nice. Okay, so we got motor drop down as you saw, and so now we're gonna separate the transmission. Well, we're gonna get the motor supported by the hoist, which Alex is getting set up, and then we're gonna pull the trans off, and then we can get the motor in the air, get the cross member off, get the thing on the stand, and then get the oil pan off, so we can get that sealed up, get the cylinder heads off, because I'm gonna take them this week and get these decked. And that'll give me time to get brake lines and stuff done for the front end. So I'm gonna set you guys up for time lapse, and we're gonna get going on that. All right, so as you just saw, we got the motor all blow apart. Yeah, that's right, I said blow apart. And got the oil pan sealed. Got the pickup tube on the windage tray. Got the oil filter just on there because this isn't going to be coming back off. Got the oil line all back on there, sealed up. I'll drop the heads off this week to get them decked. And then once the heads are done, we can get the motor back together, clutch on, trans back on. And then once I get the brake lines and stuff done, but we're gonna get the cross member back in the car so that we can start working on the brake line, try to figure out where we're gonna pass the Holly harness through. I could use this factory hold on here. I just wanna try to make it a little, I don't know, better than that. Just because if I do use that hole over there, then I don't have a way to seal it. If I do something on this HVAC delete panel, I might be able to come up with some way to kind of seal the harness off. So we're gonna try to work on that. But next step is we're gonna get the cross member back in the car. So.
What you doing there, buddy?
Playing with stuff. So this is the brake line like holder for the rubber hose on the factory cross member, and so they actually have a tab here, and this ear goes around it, and then put a bolt there, and that's it. Same on the other side, and then we just got to do our hard lines, which is nice because then if we ever have to drop the K member again and drop the engine out that way, and then we can just disconnect the brake lines right here, and then disconnect them at the master. That's it, and then the entire cross member is separate. Yeah. So let's fight me. I do have a vise, but I don't need it. So there's that. I have a vise to hold this, and I'm just like stab myself. I don't care.
Yeah, we don't talk about it too much, but we do have a lift in the shop.
Yeah. No, we don't. It's all in your dreams, dude. Don't turn around, whatever you do.
Yeah, we don't. Behind me.
Can't talk about it. Yeah. It's a lift we can't talk about. And not like just a vice. This is the god of vice. This is the King Kong Dong Shalom. Why did that just come off so easily?
Because it's on a vice. You're not prying against your own hand.
He's right. All right. So now I can get these things cleaned up really easily, and then I'll get these. I need these fittings, so I need to unthread that from this, and then I can cut that tube off, get the tube nut out, and then I should be able to just use the stupidest tool in the shop, which is a crescent wrench. That's a vice grip. So you get it nice and tight, dude, like, and then you lock it down. Sheesh. Sheesh. Yeah, like, it is funny.
And you put it on.
I have some baller tools, and half the time I'm like freaking caveman in it over here. If you don't know what caveman in it is, it's when you use your muscles instead of your brain. There we go.
Cut it right there, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll work. I don't know if it's gonna work on this other one though, because it can't really. The fitting can't go back any further. Nice. There we go. So we are in here tonight. That's exactly what happened. You're gonna see it in a future episode. The tears, that's what's next. Okay, we can't be doing that.
It wasn't me.
You can't do that to me. Alright, so these are the clips that hold. These actually just connect to the rubber lines, or in our case, we're going to be reusing or using stainless replacement lines. Clean these up, and then you can paint them really quick. Looks like someone already painted them, which tells me that someone was in here. Dude, we can't do this. We're done. I'm still on the camera. We're done. We can't do this anymore. got both of the brackets wire wheeled and then cleaned them up and got them painted. And I just used like a high temp grill paint because it dries really quick, it looks good, and it'll do the job. So that's what we're gonna use. Set in there. I'll probably loosen that bolt and rotate this a little bit so it doesn't hit the shock. But that should be plenty, because that'll just connect right to the back of the...
And if the wheel turns to the left, it'll go...
If it has enough to...
Yeah, you're good.
Should be good. Should be. If this doesn't work, then I can always just get aftermarket brake lines and change it.
Make your own?
Lengthwise. No. I can make this one come down, make it like a tight bend or something. Just do a test bend on it real quick. So if I mounted this here, could I get the line? Yeah, I could, actually. And then it would just go back a little bit and then come up behind this line and right up into here. So this end would be AN. That up there would be factory.
There you go. All right, we're gonna time lapse this and see you on the other side.
Alrighty, so as you saw by the time lapse, we're working on getting the front brakes all situated, and so the rear brakes are done. That's figured out. Proportioning valve is mounted here, 2 bolt holes here that support the bracket that supports the proportioning valve. Made this line that loops around and goes up to the slave. Now this one will end up 90ing, as you saw in the video, for a period of time. I was sitting in there trying to figure out where I was going to put this fitting. So on the master cylinder here, we have this one fitting that supplies the brake pressure for, you know, both front calipers, and so it has to tee off. I was trying to figure out where could I put the tee that if we ever had to pull the motor, let's say. Easiest way on these cars is to drop the motor, you know, down underneath with dropping the cross member like we did earlier in the video. So trying to figure out a way where I can mount this to the cross member. Unfortunately, it seems like the only way I'm gonna be able to do that is if I weld a tab to the K member. So that's kind of still up in the air, but I think that is about it. That's gonna do it for this video. That's all the time I have to wrench on this thing. I got other stuff I need to, you know, get working on, but a bunch of progress, man. This is, you know, whenever you get to a point in a build like this and you get everything blown apart, just like this here, it's kind of hard, right, to look at that and be positive. But this is a massive step. This means the next time this thing gets put back together, that's it. The motor's back in, the suspension is on. It may not be aligned, but the suspension will be actually bolted on the car. Brake lines will all be hooked up. Then we can work on just getting the fuel lines from the hard lines, you know, up. The next thing I need to get done is mount the fuel regulator. This is the factory feed on this car, and so I'm just going to mount. I'm gonna make a mount, like kind of like I did with the proportioning valve, but make something that bolts here and comes off and holds the regulator in this area, and then the, you know, it will connect right there, and then that will allow us to get the fuel side of this thing done. I've never really been able to show in a video what I did with the fuel feed stuff. So that is a, right here you can see this aluminum line comes up to this welded bulkhead fitting, and that is a 1/2 inch hard line that I routed all the way back up underneath the car. So the fuel feed only has, it's only gonna have like, I don't know, a 3-foot section worth of hose that goes up and around to the back, and then obviously, you know, back in the tank. Bunch of updates. Again, you get to this point of project, you're blowing stuff apart, it seems like you're going backwards. but really in this point, it's going back like 3 or 4 steps to go forward the 100%. Like this is the final like 50 yards. Like we're right there. So yeah, next thing, I'll get the heads dropped off this week so we can get those decked. Once I get those back, I should have everything else done to where we can get the motor put back together, drop it back in the car, get the front suspension all back on, all tightened, and that's it. I am so close, but it's like a fine balance where I'm only able to spend, you know, maybe a day on the weekend to work on this thing, or maybe a couple late nights throughout the week where I've already worked all day, but I want to get something done for myself because this is why I do this kind of stuff. So yeah, for all my F-Body guys that are following along, I appreciate you guys, the new subscribers. We have over 322 subscribers last time I checked, which is awesome. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys. My brother and I, YouTube has been something that we've always wanted to do, but by the time we were able to do anything with his car, I was already so busy that I didn't have time to film anything. And still now, I really don't, but my mindset has changed where the editing doesn't take long. I can easily cut up clips and throw them together when I'm at bed at home. So there's no reason why I can't do it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying. You guys have any suggestions or tips, feel free to comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would do differently if you were building this car. And I mean, because that's what's cool about hot rodding. We all do things different, and that's okay. We learn, we adapt. And so, pretty sweet. If you like the video, like it. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. And let's be real, subscriptions are free. I'm not asking you to give me anything. If you're here watching a video, subscribe. Literally, if everyone did that to every single channel that they watched and the person in that video asked, I think that there would be a lot more people doing what they genuinely love. And so if you like the video, like and subscribe. If you don't, that's okay. Stick around, hate, comment, I don't care. I'm enjoying this, this is fun. Been having a lot of fun doing this kind of stuff. And obviously now having a camera makes it easier. So feel free to subscribe. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Week's gonna be a long one, but this definitely makes it all worth it. So now I'm gonna clean up the shop, go home, get some supper, and I will talk to you guys later.